Hey everybody, we have Wes coming to visit us from Midgard Axe. He's going to help me a little bit with my throwing. I am having a horrible time with over rotating my hatchets, and we're going to see if there's something we could do with the hatchets that I'm throwing to maybe take some weight out in different places or add some weight to change my throw up a little bit and slow that rotation down. How you doing, Wes?
Good, good. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing pretty good. So,
Thanks for having me on. I'm looking
yeah,
forward to this. We've been trying to do this for a while, so it's really cool.
yeah, definitely. Finally got together.
Yeah, finally
Um,
got together.
So let's start off with my first hatchet that I've been throwing a lot lately. This is the Queen of Hearts. It's a
I've
waddle
seen
line
that
hatchet.
one. Mm-hmm.
Um, I started throwing this mainly because it came in stock with this square handle, but it is a little bit lighter head. I think it's a 1.65 pound head, and it
Mm-hmm.
just is over rotating on me. Is there anything you see with this head that I can do, whether it's adding weight to the back with welding on something or taking more weight out here that would stop my rotation? Or
Is
anything
it
with a
the same?
handle length.
Is it the same handle length that you normally throw with?
So it is the same handle length as the other two that I was throwing, which we'll go
Okay.
over as well.
Okay.
So I'm having trouble with all of the hatchets.
So it
Throwing
doesn't
from a
matter
toe
which one
throwing.
you use, you're over rotating now.
Yes. So the
Okay.
heavier weight did help. My one is a little bit heavier, but it still isn't consistent. I could change my throw, but the throw I have is pretty accurate, so I'd like to use the throw that I already have.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep the throw that you got, what I would probably recommend doing now, take into consideration, guys, that I'm not a waddle thrower. I throw
Right.
axes differently than Paul does, but I do a lot of modifications on axes for different throws. What I would consider doing would be, um, have you considered taking about an inch off your handle length? Can you do that in waddle?
I can. I can cut this down. You think that will help slow my throw?
It could potentially. It depends on how you throw. I've seen where some people can either lengthen a handle or shorten a handle, which will cause the axe to rotate differently as well.
Okay.
You can add weight. I know some people can weld some weight on the back of the pole. And what it'll do is it'll kind of put some more weight on the back end for you. So that way, when you throw, of course, it's going to rotate a little slower, so you're not over rotating. But I would try maybe on your own with an axe that you don't care about. Maybe get a cheap axe. Try cutting an inch off
Yeah.
and line up and throw like you normally throw and see if that is the easiest fix before you start messing with heads and everything
Right.
else. Try that. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but just try it and get back with me and let me know what happens. But I would try that first. If that doesn't work, then you're probably going to have to either start adding weight to your head to slow down your rotation because you said you don't want to change your throw, or you're going to have to maybe change up your speed of your throw. Now, are you willing to change the speed of your throw at all, or do you
So
like the speed of your throw?
yeah, I did practice that a little bit yesterday. We had a league yesterday. And I'm throwing at a competitor's X venue, and I look like a fool, honestly. But
Yeah.
I did start throwing a little harder. But I'm nowhere near as accurate. Changed up my throw a little bit, so I was seeing if there's something I could do to keep my throw. I
And
will
you're
say
over
like,
rotating, right? You said you're
yeah,
over rotating.
I will say like my targets on my boards back here, these are cottonwood. And they're end grain. So I mean, it's kind of like cheater targets. These things stick so easy. Anything sticks to them.
Right.
And we're throwing at regular. They're still cottonwood targets, but they're the long board targets that you normally see in an axe throwing range. So
Mm-hmm.
those are a little bit trickier to stick than these. So my light throw, I do have a really light throw when I'm throwing for accuracy, and that's not as helpful throwing at regular targets. I will
Right. Right.
I will say what you did say about shortening the handle. This is like my common like house hatchet, super small handle, only a 1.25 pound head, um,
Mm-hmm.
and this does rotate faster than my regular ones that I'm throwing in league. So
Yeah.
what I would think maybe I'll try to like just choke up on the handle first and see if that changes anything before cutting down on a handle. Um, because maybe the
You could
head
choke
difference. Yeah,
You could choke up, but I will tell you this: when you start choking up on that handle, you're gonna have to contend with more wood down there hitting.
I got you. Yeah, yeah,
right
you're
here.
right. Flipping out of my hand. Yep.
When it starts to flip out of your hand, you may
Yeah.
be good for a few throws, but as soon as you start choking up on that handle, you're gonna there's gonna be that one time where it's just gonna, and then it's gonna kick. It's probably gonna end up kicking to the left. Your head's gonna end up kicking to the left.
Yeah.
So consider that too. I mean,
Good
you can
point.
always
Yeah.
practice it before you go to your competition, but
Yeah.
always consider choking up. Is a lot of people ask me that. Can you choke up on a handle that's really close when you throw? Like, people will set up and they'll throw and they'll say, yeah, but what if you had to take a step forward? Could you just choke up on the handle? And I say, yeah, you could, but that you're dealing with extra handle length. Whereas you can change your throw. Like I
Yeah.
can set up here and throw a 20-inch axe at
Yep.
my target, but then I can take a huge step forward and throw that same axe and still sink it because I just change up. I pull
Right.
back on the axe handle as I release.
I
So,
got you. Yeah.
but I would, I would consider looking at where your targets are in conjunction with theirs. You said it's the same length, though, right?
They say it's the same length, but I've even talked to other competitive throwers and some guys there that throw in my leagues as well. Um, these guys came in from over, way better throwers than me, and they just cleaned my league up this year. But they're like, yeah, I'll throw at your trailer on the 12-foot line, I'll throw at Savage on the 12-foot line, I'll throw at Noble on the 12-foot line, and they're like, all your 12-foot lines feel different. I don't
Yeah.
know. So
Well,
yeah.
I'm wondering because like when you set up when you throw waddle, I'm assuming when you set up to throw waddle, do you step at all, or are you fixed
Well, I
where
don't,
you're at when you throw?
yeah, we don't step. I don't think
You
anybody
don't
steps
step.
into it. Yeah.
Okay, so
I
you're
feel like the
so there's no step involved. So I was gonna say something about your step,
yeah.
but if that's not
You
involved,
can
then
step, you're allowed to, but I feel like the more moving parts when you're throwing, the less accurate you're going to be. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I could get that. I think I mean, I don't like I said, I don't know anything about waddle, and I've had a lot of people tell me
yeah,
that the hard throwers and the people that step aren't as accurate as everybody else is. That's what people have told me, which I don't throw waddle, but
yeah,
I think it just depends on the person, but that's just my opinion. But
right. Like my trailer, I'm not waddle certified. Like mine's mainly for fun. I'm just trying to like communicate with other people in the axe throwing community, and I joined somebody
yeah,
else's league just to have fun, and I'm like, well, I want to be competitive, so let's see if I can fix something. Like, this is another one of mine. This is the bad axe. That's what I started throwing with, but I
hmm,
felt like this one, the handle length's the same. I mean, I put an angle on all the ends of my axes just in case, under rotation, it always helps a little bit. But
right.
I think these like compared to this one, the flatter blade, the like for my over rotation, I think that helps me a little bit. But this one's still over rotated. I noticed a lot on your axe heads. What is the point when you start like taking out like any kind of like
The
clearance
beard,
here? Yeah, why do
yeah,
you why
taking
do you
out the
do that?
beard. I take out the beard for two reasons. One, like I said before, whenever I do my axes, I use work axes when I throw.
Right.
So I want my axe to be used in multiple roles and be able to use in multiple roles. I want a work axe and then I want to be able to throw it. So whenever I cut the beard in it, there's a couple different reasons why I do that beard. One is because a lot of the axes that I throw are carpenter's axes. And when you put the beard into a carpenter's axe, you can choke up on the axe and get your hand up into the head to where you can carve a little bit better.
Okay.
Two, the reason why I put a beard into the axe as well is because it takes off a lot of the weight. Those carpenter axes like that Husqvarna, that thing's
Yeah.
some of those axes are coming in at 3 pounds. So I've gotten one that was over 3 pounds, and we're talking about a 20-inch handled axe, which is fine. But sometimes I want to cut down some weight. I'll put a beard in it to cut down, and you would be surprised on how much weight comes off. And I think in one of my videos, I did a weight comparison when I weighed it beforehand and afterhand when I took that beard out. I mean, you're talking, I think it was at 2 pounds and 15 ounces. And when I put that beard in it, it dropped it down to like 2 pounds, 5 ounces. It took like 10 ounces out of the head. So that, man, you wouldn't think it's a lot, but when you start, you know, setting up the throw, and you can definitely feel that weight difference when take a regular Husqvarna carpenter's axe and throw it and then cut the weight out and then throw it again. You can totally tell the difference, or throw them both at the same time. But and then the third is, of course, is for looks, for
Yeah.
design stuff,
It
to
is
make it
cool
look
looking. It
cool.
really does
Yeah,
look cool.
yeah, to make it look cool. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I like to. I do like functionality first, and then design second. Like I want it to function, and then if I can make a cool design in it and function, then it's a win-win for me.
Yeah,
So
you've had some really cool looking axes. Yeah.
yeah, I've got a couple here, like the Husqvarna axe, the one I was telling you about.
Yeah.
See, these are the two different ones, but these are the exact same handle, the exact same head. This one's weighing in at exactly 2 pounds, and this one's weighing in at 2 pounds and like 8 ounces. But the difference between the two is that if I hold this one in my hand and weigh, because you have two different types of weight. You have the weight this way, you put it on
Yep.
your hand, and then you have the weight this way.
Okay.
This one here, if I take this one, I'll just show you really quick the difference. So when I take it right here and I put it in my hand, see how it falls forward?
Yeah.
All the weight in this one is really in the head.
Right.
I did leave this back here because I didn't want it too much weight in here. So I left the pole a little bit bigger in the back. But if I take that same axe that I redesigned and put it here, it's really evenly distributed on this one. This is what I call my race axe. This is the one that I can throw really fast and really hard because it's mainly all the weight is really right in here. It's centered with the handle. So there's nothing going on right here. It's all right in this area. So this one right here is really good for an even, really fast throw. And the other one down here, this one right here, when this head starts to spin and hit, it hits hard and goes in deep where this one doesn't. So there is a little difference, and of course I've shaved off here where, I'm giving you the bird, sorry. When you cut the weight out here, like most of mine come in and then they, there's no cut in it. There's still steel in this area. And I cut this out because I was doing a little bit different design and wanted to shave some weight. And I figured I'd cut this out right here, give it a cool look, and it would take out some more weight. So this one right here is usually in at like 2 pounds and like 11 or 12 ounces, somewhere around there. This one's at 2.6 or 2.7. So, it does make a difference. Like you said, it definitely, if you have a head heavy axe or you have a lot of your weight in the center here, it does change how you throw. And it does change how that axe hits the target as well. So when you over rotate your axe, when you were over rotating, where was it hitting? Was it like hitting the eye?
So sometimes it's hitting like right here and I kind of almost stick it, and then sometimes it is hitting right on the eye. And I will say, like, from my 12-foot line, I can stick it okay here. And like the one big thing about like when you're throwing in waddle or probably any competition, I'm not quite sure, but at least waddle, you can't, follow your axe. So like if you step into it, you know what I'm saying, and you go past the line,
follow through. Yeah,
you can't step past that until you're scored. So
gotcha.
I can easily stick it every time, very accurate if I was able to follow through, but holding back, that's where I'm losing a little bit. So
well, let me ask you a question because
yeah.
I know the way that I throw. I've seen your videos and the waddle guys when they throw. It's like you guys have a lot of wrist action in y'all throw.
Yep.
So what I was going to say is that did you consider the fact that maybe you're over rotating your axe and it's got nothing to do with your axe and it's got maybe something to do with your wrist now?
Oh,
like something's changed?
It definitely does. Like my wrist, that really quick wrist, like that's where like a lot of people throw that way because I think it's the most accurate. You're really only flicking your wrist. You don't have a lot of, your arm movement. You're not stepping into it.
Right.
So a lot of people have different stances, but it's almost all the really good hatchet throwers are throwing with the wrist. I think there's a couple downfalls I have. A lot of these guys that I'm throwing against, they're a lot taller and have a lot longer arm span. So their reach with that wrist flick, they got that extra, foot, maybe more that keeps them close to the target. I'm 5'6", so I don't have that long reach. But I could change up my throw, and I was just seeing if maybe there's something I could do with what I have already to slow that rotation. But I probably will have to change my throw unless I really want to start like adding weight back.
What I always used to do, like when I played sports, is that we always used to just like record ourselves just to make sure it's not us before we start changing stuff. What I'm saying is that I'm sure that the way, but sometimes like I'll do it too, where I'll come outside and I'll start throwing and I'm like, I can't even stand. Like, what is going on with me
Yeah.
today? And I'm recording, because I'm recording for YouTube or whatever, and I'll
Yeah.
go back and watch, and I'm like, I didn't even realize, but I'm taking way too big of a step right now, and I didn't even realize it. I was just throwing out the wrist thing to see maybe it could be that day, or maybe
Yeah.
the something's changed with your wrist and you don't know it. Maybe I don't know. But as far as changing up the axe goes, the only thing that I could think of is you could either lighten up the axe or you could add weight to the back end. If you lighten up the axe, then it's just gonna be a different type of throw for you.
Yeah.
If you wanted to add weight, you could always add weight to the back of the pole,
Yep.
and you could weld something. Now, I don't know what the waddle rules
You
are
can.
for
Yeah.
you can do that stuff.
Yep. There's a lot
Yeah,
of custom hatchets. Yeah.
then I would consider, if you're over rotating and it's not a fluke thing you're doing, and you feel like you're doing everything you should be doing, and it's with all of your axes, right?
Yeah, it's all
Those
of them.
two
It's not.
axes. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what axe it is. Then
Yeah.
I would consider then you might want to consider adding some weight to it.
Yeah. Like this is probably out of all of them I have that I was throwing with. I don't like I don't like the build of it, but this one has the most weight out of all of them that I threw. And I will say it probably I probably am most consistent as far as sticking with this, not accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
Um so I guess I was that's what I was thinking. I was thinking weight too, but I just wanted I wanted to check with you because you seem like you have.
Well, question for you: what
Yep.
happens when you throw at your place with those axes? Do you over rotate?
So not much. I don't stick them I don't stick them even in the board like this. I'm always like slightly like that. So I don't say I over rotate. I'm sticking, but they're not. They're like sticking at like say this angle rather
Okay.
than straight up and down like in the board.
Okay. So
Um,
at your place, you're sticking like this,
yeah,
and then there you're
I'm like
hitting like
that.
this.
Yeah,
So there's
and
something
that's
going on between here and here that's
so.
going on, and that could be a distance issue too.
I think I mean, and it can only be a couple inches can throw you that little bit off.
Right.
I
Right.
think
Right.
I guess I mean I do have when I do practice on my place. Um, I might still over like a little bit like this, and I'll still stick it just because how soft my boards are at the end grain, and they're just not sticking.
Right.
It's just they're a little bit tougher boards to stick into. So
Right.
I mean, I'm probably gonna have to change my throw up a little bit, but I was seeing if I could be creative with one of my axes or one of my
Yeah, I mean,
hatchets and
like I
just play
said,
around
go
with it.
ahead.
Yeah,
I would say, if you wanted to do something to try it out, it's going to be one of those things where it's test and evaluation. Like when
yeah,
I started throwing all these axes, it wasn't like I knew exactly how to do something and I did it and it worked. I had to
right.
go through, especially with my throw, I had to go through different things. And I can throw just about every axe, but I do have to change things up
Oh
sometimes
yeah,
when I throw. But with you and trying to figure out what you want to do for competition, that's going to have to be like, it's really going to have to be a test and evaluation.
yeah,
You're going to have to take one axe and add material to the back, weld it onto the back, and make it a little heavier on the back end and throw and see what happens. If it
yeah.
doesn't work, then you might have to go in and change up in here. You could probably maybe take some weight off the bottom and add it to the, or actually, I'm sorry, take some weight off the top and add it to the bottom. So that way, because if you add weight to the top, it's going to over rotate more. Because when you
Okay,
go to flick your wrist,
right.
the head's going to come down faster because
Yep,
you've added weight at the top, which is simple, mathematics that I don't
yep,
know anything about. I just know that what it does to an axe.
right.
But you could also add weight up in this area too. But that's going to have to be like one of those things where you take the axe head off,
Oh yeah,
and you're going to have to do that off of the axe head. And then you might end up having, depending on where you add weight to it, if it's up in this area in the lug or something, you might have to refit it to the handle. It may not go on exactly the same, but it's literally going to be a test and evaluation. And I can send you stuff in an email on all the little things that you can do as far as where you can put weight at, where you can do this and where you can do that. So that way you can kind of pick and choose what you want to try and see what you want to do. But I'd hate for you to go welding on the back of your competition axe though, and then it not work.
yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I have a bunch of them, so I might try on one of them that I practically turned into a house axe already. Like this
Yeah.
one, I don't throw this in competition. I could practice with that and throw it on the back because I let regular customers throw this thing at this point. and they like it
Okay.
because it's something different. So,
Right. Right.
but yeah. I mean, I'll probably end up throwing some weight on the back. I kind of figured I'd try that out, but I wanted to jump on and talk to you about it.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah,
that would probably be the easiest thing to do
yeah,
to start with, adding weight to the back of that pole. It's really easy to get to the pole. It's really easy to weld some weight on the back. You can do that
yeah.
pretty easily. So
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I love what you're doing over there. I watch darn near every one of your videos. I see your shorts pop up all the time.
I know.
Love seeing
I
you
feel
whip those
bad for all the
things.
people. I feel bad for all the people that are following me. Like there's another guy, and I can't remember his name. That I watched your videos, and there's another guy that I'm following right now. He does some really cool stuff, but I wish I could watch more of your guys' stuff. I really do. But I am, like I said before we got on this, I was literally right over there.
Yep.
Before we got on this, I've been out here since 11, working on axes and hafting axes. And then
You're
after
good.
that, after we get off here, I'm going to go finish it so I can edit it. And then I got another video to make inside, which is the Midgard, the weekly news and axe facts. I got to go inside after I get done with that.
Due to some technical difficulties, our Zoom froze up a little bit there at the end. Thanks to Wes from Midgard Axe for coming on and giving me some tips on how I could possibly change up my hatchets to fit my throw. And check out his channel if you have time, Midgard Axe. He is way bigger than me and gives some pretty good information if you're into the axe throwing and hatchet world. Finishing up a late night here at Moving Targets Mobile Axe Throwing. We'll see you next time.